What's going on, guys? We're going to real quick just talk about my Storm build. Now, I am a level 100 Storm player. I've been playing this game for the same amount of time everybody has, which is maybe a week. Everything I say should be taken with a grain of salt for three reasons. The first, I don't fucking know what I'm talking about. And the second, this is subject to change, right? They could nerf the character we might find. So basically, I have three completely separate builds for Storm. And I'm going to show them off for you. We're not going to really talk about gear because gear is dependent. You work on the gear you want, the set you want. For example, my set is giving me a bonus to Weather Witch. It's an ability I like. I would also maybe use Atmosphere Control. These are abilities I use everywhere. So we're going to start with Loadout 1. Loadout 1 is my PvE build. I use this as the base build for PvE. And then I make a quick change if I need more damage for a blitz or something like that, like single target damage. And it's really simple. It's Atmosphere Control. I never take Atmosphere Control off Storm. I think it's one of her best abilities just because of how you can change it to do different things. I'm using the shock damage one, mainly because of how it works. It leaves a dot on the floor, so anyone who walks into it or stands in it continues to take shock damage and receive shock stacks. For PvE, that's relevant. Storm is not a particularly tanky character, so decreasing their attack by 25%. Huge survivability boost for her, as well as just leaving damage on the floor and letting someone walk into it later. Second ability I use is Lightning Cloud. Very similar reason why. The only reason this one is ranked up is stamina drain. I want a attack that does a decent chunk of damage, and again, it is an AoE. It hits an area, not a person. So be a little bit careful with where you send it, but it's not a bad chunk of damage, especially if you're fighting a boss. Compared to this, which is what I would switch to if I know I'm boss fighting. Like if I know I'm trying to take down solo Laufey, you know, if I'm trying to solo a boss in the actual world, I might want to optimize my single target damage a little bit better. But either way, one of these two attacks is pretty much where I go because the cost isn't that problematic for how you actually use Storm. Moving to number 3, Storm's best ability. For my money, Storm, again, isn't very tanky. This ability is her best ability in all forms of the game. Surrounds herself with a barrier and becomes invincible for, I don't know, it's like 2 seconds, but it feels like 9 minutes. It's forever. It's longer than you want it to be when you're facing Storm, and too short when you're about to eat Maestro Ultimate. So this ability should be on Storm at all times, always. Where you put it is up to you. I don't care. Assuming that the auto feature will always start from here and work its way up, you would probably want this ability somewhere towards the end. In general, if you are going to use auto, if you're not, then that's fine. But this ability is more about feeding a chill stack and doing a little bit of AoE damage. This is a survivable ability for PvE. Its value is the fact that you actually don't have to run away or waste a dodge to avoid a skill shot or a major attack from a boss. You could just sit there, eat it with this, and then immediately continue DPSing when they're usually on their, like, stun Dark Souls boss cooldown from doing something really big. Like, I don't know what to do. You actually end up getting high DPS meters with it because of that. The next ability I use for PvE is, again, the same as Atmo. It's lightning attack, but it's cloud pursuit. It just throws another lightning cloud, does the exact same thing. It's got a pretty decent guard break on it, so you can probably do a pretty decent amount of job with it when you're fighting, like, you know, world bosses as they spawn. But low stamina, reasonable cooldown. You just kind of spam it as it comes up. And keep in mind, Storm's basic does shock damage, so you're leaning into the shock. If her basic was switchable, or if she did chill damage, we'd do the exact opposite. And last but not least, Storm's PvE hero ability. It decreases cooldowns at level 100. It's to 40% for 8 seconds. Yeah, it's exactly what it sounds like. All of the CDs of your abilities are decreased. So, and you're done. For PvE, this is amazing. It keeps your really long cooldown survivable stuff up, but it also lets your spammable abilities come up and up and up and up and up. So yeah, This is the most reasonable thing. The one thing you'll notice is Atmo is set to 5. This one I haven't increased. The reason why is I don't see much of a difference between the 40.1% and the 42% decrease in cooldown. Like, the percentage doesn't make sense, so I'm not really going out of my way to spend the gold right now to upgrade this. That's a personal decision. As you upgrade the material, you know, as you upgrade things, they go up. And the most important thing is when you have a set bonus, you actually get extra stacks. So my lightning cloud ability, weather witch ability rather, is functioning as if it's rank 20. That's why the gear is its own relevant conversation. Moving to this is what I'm currently using for Omega War, which is completely and totally unique on its own. Oh, hi, phone. This is completely and totally unique. So, again, I don't know how right this is. This is just how I happen to play Storm, and I've been appreciating it more and more as time goes on. It's same basic start off, except the stage 1, I'm using the chill. The first reason why it does the same thing, but it does chill stacks, and chill stacks are way more valuable in PvE than shock. Shock does reduce the damage. It's relevant, but Storm's basic does shock damage, and you're going to be using her basic a lot. So it's not that relevant. However, freezing somebody in PvE, especially in Omega War PvP stuff, or in Dark Zone, that's they're gonna die. You know, if they're frozen, they're also gonna die. So I try to stack the chills. Plus, if there's another storm or if there's a Star Ward floating around, you can kind of work together to keep the chill stacks up. Number 2, this one is a little bit less. The stamina cost on this is what's keeping it a little bit down. I just want to chain. This is a chain lightning attack, so I want to hit a person and maybe more people if it moves up. Going to number 3, this is insane for Omega War, and any storm that doesn't have this in Omega War is probably looking too hard at doing damage and not hard enough at winning the war. This creates a fog in the area and increases all of the dodge rate of the characters in the fog by 30%. On your side. So in Omega War, just when a fight starts breaking out, if you swoop in and hit this, you just increase the survivability of everybody on your team. It's also great setup for you to use your abilities, because now everybody turning to you is going to miss quite a bit. Now, it only lasts for 8 seconds. That is a long time, and if people don't know to leave, this should set up a really decent fight. The 4th ability, I call it Sadie Hawkins. It's pick your own. I happen to like to use chill abilities, so I picked another AoE. It's okay to, it kind of feeds into, you fly in, you up your dodge, and then during your dodge timer, you cast this spell, does a giant AoE. Anyone foolish enough to not leave might get frozen. There's no guard break in here, unfortunately, but there's a decent amount of damage in the AoE, so you'll get some good hits in, and it scales up. Obviously, mine isn't even max level. And you'll get those freeze charges, which the longer they stay in here, the more ticks of it, the more time it goes up. And last but not least, we have Storm's best ability. It's part of the combo. It's at the end of all of this. After the dodge has gone down, she's at 30% health, and everyone's like, no, we have to kill her. She just killed 5 people. This is the, Snowstorm Shield attack that everyone just can't hit you. They're all targeting you. They're all trying their best. You are invulnerable, and then bang, chilled. People might get frozen, people might get dead. Doesn't really matter. Once this is done, you get out of the fight, you come back when all your cooldowns are off. This is how I use Omega War. It's been doing pretty well for me so far. It is completely obnoxious, so just remember, if you do this right now, you are going to be a troll, but you will win Omega Wars, and as far as I'm concerned, that's why I play Omega War, to win. And then 3rd, this is the PvP set. This is a work in progress, I'm telling you right now. The biggest issue is there are characters that I cannot lose to, and there are characters that I cannot beat. And every time I make a slight change to facilitate one, I get worse to the others. So, Storm's weaknesses right now are well-built Doctor Stranges, any Widow that knows what they're doing, and, of course, other Storms. Every other character... Spider-Man's can be, but isn't, but can be a problem. Every other character Storm can relatively decently fight, assuming that there is a parity, like your levels are the same and your investments are the same. you have similar enough gear, or there's just like a tiny little bit enough of difference, that's where she's at right now. That's probably going to change. So for PvP, again, I'm sticking with, or PvE again. No, I was right. PvP. Again, I'm sticking with the chill as the basic effect. I want to use Atmo to chill them, freeze the area, maybe just kind of mess with their camera a little bit so they can't see as much. Number 2 is the same single target continuous shock attack. The shock is more relevant in 1v1 because you don't have to worry about 10 people. You only have to worry about one person killing you, so the more shock stacks, the more 25% damage reduction you have, the more likely you're going to survive a storm, especially when going up against like Black Widow. But even then, her crits are going to hit real hard. Anyway, literally the in case of fire break glass button, when you see someone charging up an ultimate or something like that, if you think Widow's about to hit you with that snipe, bang, wasted the cooldown, call it a day. Other storms, this is going to be a race to see who accidentally clicks it first, because the one who clicks it first, I just click mine 1 second after you. Yours goes off, mine goes off, you get chilled, it's over. The other 2 attacks I've been testing, these are the 2 that are really up in the air. These 2 I think are great. These 2 are up in the air. Number 3 I have placed is just Lightning Cloud. It's just a spammable, cheap lightning attack that I could do at range that doesn't particularly matter where they are, whether they're on the ground or in the air, it'll hit them. That's a reasonable enough attack, and it has a huge guard break, so if you're trying to get cute and fly around, it might just drop you to the ground and get you killed. And the last is an AoE. This is more for the people who try to get really close and personal and hit you, like Captain Marvel's. Once you set up your guard block, after you come off of it, you could use this to kind of continue those chill stacks and actually get some fight in, maybe get some stacks on. So that's pretty much everything as far as my storm build is concerned, and I have some footage that I'll show you probably in another video of why I built it this way, and it will be updated as time goes on. Just to throw it out there, I do want to show the gear set I'm currently using on Storm is the 80s set. The increase in the defense pierce, there it is. That's pretty standard on most sets, right? Like, it's not a big deal. I went with the one with Weather Witch. Other sets I think are reasonable. Not that one. I think that the Hadarai Yao set is absolutely phenomenal because lightning attack is most often used. You can also justify the 90 Storm set for Atmo. Atmo doesn't do a lot of damage, but you use it all the time anyway, and it allows you a little bit more freedom with how to change. I think that of all of Storm's abilities, Atmo Control is probably the one that you would never take off. So increasing the damage output or whatever that ability does by 5 ranks, especially as you go up 6 ranks as you upgrade your gear. That's pretty much everything. One last thing I want to talk about, because I brought it up last night with a couple of other content creators. You'll notice here it says I have a level 5 Uncanny wins, but I only have 4 pieces of gear. The reason why, and if you click on this, it'll only say level 1, your level is equal to the number of pieces you have. So the set bonuses are set bonuses, but the level is equal to the number of pieces that you have of that set. So even if you have a blue set piece, it'll still kind of balance itself out to 4. Once you have 4 pieces, it takes the set rank of whatever your highest piece is. So my highest piece is 5, so this is functioning as a 5. If I were to bring up all the pieces to 5, it would still be 5. If I were to bring one up to 6, you get the idea. So that's kind of how you should pay attention to your gear. There's usually, you're not going to be able to get all of the pieces at once unless you're spending a lot of money. So bring up the piece that has the most of the stat you care about, especially if they're the bonus option rolls. And then hopefully you can bring the rest up over time. Anyway, guys, have a good night. Have a great day. Thanks for watching. I've been Tony Scungili, and I will catch you later.